Last time I played Bloodborne, I was a dumb 14-year-old who didn't even know what Souls-like even meant. But even with this, I somehow managed to beat the game then. Now 6 years later, still as dumb as before, but with 2 other Souls games played, and a bunch of Elden Ring playthroughs under my belt, I decided to revisit this game by doing a challenge on it. Bloodborne Gun Only. Okay, I know it was done by everyone and their mothers, so here we have... Can you beat Bloodborne? As a dual-wielding gunslinger? Now, the problem is that you can't really dual-wield guns. All guns are left-hand exclusive weapons, and the gun spear, well, that's a dual-wielding weapon. The thing is that there is one weapon in the whole game that is a right-hand gun, the Rater plush in Cainhurst Castle, which means that the rules are the following. I have to beat only necessary bosses until I get the Rater plush, and then, after getting it, I have to fire one shot with each weapon. I can't just fire the same one over and over again. So, call me Reaper from Overwatch, call me Lucian from League of Legends, and let us begin. I started the game by making a character that looks worthy of the name I gave him. After that, the old man infused me with some tomato sauce, which gave me a really bad trip. I almost got consumed by a wolf, but thankfully, I was saved by a bunch of YouTube thumbnail reactions. After I awakened, I went to get mauled by a dog in order to teleport myself inside the hunter's dream, where I got the first weapon, the hunter's pistol. With it equipped, I went to see the cleric beast to gain one insight and talk to my waifu. God, I love you. With this out of the way, I talked to German, the local gardener. Well, you know what they say. Great minds think alike. Anyways, after I embarrassed myself fighting Father Gascoigne, I decided to take a trip around London to collect some bloodstones and upgrade my gun. I also met the Hunter of Hunters and Gascoigne's daughter, the latter giving me the music box, and after getting British citizens ran over by a boulder over and over again, in order to gain blood echoes to upgrade at the doll, I was ready to fight Father Dogecoin. Now, the problem was that I was not going to beat him first try, and it also took me half an hour of farming just to get the necessary items for the fight. And with this in mind, I decided to use the coward strat of save scamming. Just back up your save, and after you die, download the save data to be put right back outside the arena. Anyways, but how was the fight itself? Pretty hard. The first thing you need to know is that guns do horrible damage, but if you parry and then shoot again, the damage of the next shot is massively increased. Thankfully, you can parry almost all of its attacks. Just don't try to parry when he jumps towards you, because 9 out of 10 times you will get hit. For his wolf phase, just stay away from him, and try to parry when he does the grrr, I'm angry move. And eventually, you will get him down. With one less day trader in the world, I continued onwards past the friendliest wolf in Bloodborne. Seriously now, why is he so friendly? Dogs are way more aggressive than this guy. I ignored the sign that said do not enter because I'm too cool for rules, and I used the gun to... I guess that works too. The only thing I had to do now was beat PSB. And what did I do? Well, of course I save scammed. She was not a problem though. It took me way less attempts to beat her, mainly because it took me way less time to get the hang of her parryable moves. Best ones are the follow-up swing after the head shake, and sometimes her "I'm angry, get away from me" attacks in her second and third phase. With a creature that resembles my foreskin dead, it was time to do something unforgivable. Use the chalice to unlock the calm dungeon. Calm down, I'll only use it to buy resources. Leveling and upgrading will be done in the normal way. With this out of the way, after I came 4 times, I bought enough bullets and vials to last me for a pretty long while. Since I couldn't get inside the forest without a secret code, I had to beat the best girl, second best girl, and take it from her. But first, I went to get the Radiant Sword Hunter badge, and with this now I can buy Bone Marrow Ash. If you didn't know, this is a consumable that enhances gun damage for 1 bullet, making it do a huge amount of damage. I also went to the Hunter's workshop to steal some clothes and some spaghetti. I also got a present for my waifu here.
Tell me, Hunter, could this be joy?
I don't know, but if it resembles how I feel around you, it definitely is. Now it was time for Vicar Amelia. Even better. She's probably one of the easiest bosses I had to beat in this run. I could have easily took her down in my first try, if I hadn't forgotten to equip Numbing Mist. So I ended up in my least favorite situation. Exactly. At the mercy of a furry. Lord have mercy. Anyways, I managed to beat her without any problems in the second try. I watched some good life lessons.
Fear the old blood.
And now I can enter the Forbidden Woods. After speeding through the woods, I got an invitation to a red wedding or something. Sadly, I couldn't join at the moment, because I had to fight the witches of Ham Sandwich to progress, because... I don't know, reasons I guess. Just go in their arena, let the monsters kill you, spend all your insight on bloodstone shards, or whatever you have available, and go back to fight the boss that doesn't even attack you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say boss? I meant joke. This boss is a joke. With my grandma's dead, I was now able to go to the party. Aw, damn. Looks like I missed it. Anyways, I got the... Yeah, I'm not pronouncing that. Let's call it the right handgun. So, I got the right handgun, and the challenge only officially begins now. To first test it, I went back to London to kill that cute dog from the beginning. I actually did this for one other reason. The repeating pistol, which fires a whopping 2 bullets that can do pretty good damage. Anyways, dog dead, repeating pistol in my left hand, right hand gun in my right hand, now I was ready to run around and farm so I can upgrade them. Okay, now it's time for Shadows of Yharnam. I initially thought that killing the ranged guy would be a smart move, but that left me with 2 fast attacking, gap closing, limb stretching enemies. So you can guess what happened for the next hour. It's funny, the first time I decided to kill Katana guy first, I ended up beating the other 2 with relative ease. Too bad I forgot to record. Professional YouTuber here. Anyways, with the shadows defeated, I entered the worst place on earth. Birmingham. The place was full of people ready to pounce on you at every step, a violent crack addict, an insane old man, and a lot of other creatures ready to stab, suck, and mug me. You know, just like the real thing. Thankfully, I didn't have to spend too much time here, since I just had to jump in a pool to fight Rom the voluptuous spider. Or in other words, your mom. The actual best girl in the game was not a problem, besides the ungodly amount of spiders she summons. Enough to have an arachnophobe foaming at the mouth on the ground. I would have beaten her first try, if I hadn't got way too confident. Anyways, I took her down in my second try, and I was blessed with one of the most iconic cutscenes ever. Damn girl, why so red? No need to be so shy. I'm sorry my queen. With this out of the way, I was teleported to Yahar'gul. Oh yeah, I apparently forgot to say that I beat Dark Beast Parl. This just shows how memorable that fight was. Anyways, I ran through Yahar'gul, collecting bloodstones and opening doors and shortcuts. After a while of being lost and getting two-shotted by giant pigs, I finally got to the one reborn. You know, I was just joking. There was no need for this. Sadly, we follow up an easy boss fight with another easy one. I died a few times, but after upgrading my guns, he was like a walk in the park. Besides the leaking ooze that covered the whole area when they used it, there was no attack that came even close to creating me problems. Also, why does this boss keep making the brain aneurysm noises? With the son of the girl that I failed to raise dead, I went inside a place of sadness, tears and despair. Yep, sounds like your average college. I left as soon as I could, but I ended up in the Hunter's Nightmare, only to leave and go back to Castle Cainhurst in order to fight Martin Longitude. There were two problems with this boss that almost made me say, fuck it, I'll do it later. The fact that this boss has one of the worst runs in the entire game, while also not being an easy one, and the fact that he could summon a fucking bullet shield, while also summoning a bunch of swords to attack you. But I didn't give up. I looked at myself and I said, you know what, I'll just get good. And get good, I did. Turns out that if you stay close to him, you can parry most of his attacks. That didn't mean he just stopped using the sword summons. He still decided to start the attack from time to time, even though I was right next to him. With him dead, I put his crown on my head. You know, it looks pretty good. Oh crap, I forgot to take my pills again. In my hallucination, I met a woman who talked about herself in plural. Okay lady, whatever tickles your fancy, I guess. I guess I have to traverse this place too. To ignore the almost worst area in the game, I pretty much use the best strategy ever when it comes to evading FromSoft enemies. Running. After a while, I finally got to a lamp, and I entered some weird place where I was welcomed by a femboy twink. I chased after him, only to end up actually dying to Mikolash. Who the fuck dies to Mikolash? Okay, let's try again. First face down. I initially thought I will have to go and fight him fair and square, but it turns out that my long range weapons could actually reach him. Who would have guessed? Is there anyone who fights this guy normally? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Anyways, with another temptation dead, I went back to Yahar'gul to grab a key. With said key, I opened the door to the upper cathedral ward. You know, when it comes to Lovecraftian horror, this game is the embodiment of saying it goes from bad to worse. We just went from vampire, blood-sucking monsters, headless woman and a queen who speaks in plural, to babies on the ground, inside-sucking monsters, and blue boys. God, I love this game. Speaking of blue boys, the Celestial Emissary boss fight was by far one of the easiest ones I had so far. If this is supposed to represent the cosmos is not scary at all. Heck, not even intimidating. I almost feel bad for them. Almost. But wait, what about the secret boss of the area? Ebrietas is easy. Besides the fact that she hits like a truck, pretty much one-shotting me with every move, she also has a glaring weakness. Her massive head. And when I say weak point, I mean weak point. Bear in mind that she has a lot of blood resist, but I was still able to do around 1000 damage with a few bullets and some bone powder. Now, there was one more boss I had to beat before moving forward. The Amygdala. Before fighting the glorified ballsack, I first bought and upgraded the Evelyn. The gun does a little bit less damage than the repeating pistol, but compared to it, the Evelyn uses only one bullet per shot, so overall it deals more damage per bullet. It also has better blood scaling than the repeating pistol. With the Evelyn upgraded, I entered the Amygdala arena. Can you guess if the boss was easy or tough? Easy, of course it was easy. Seems like the weaknesses run in the family, because Amy had the same weaknesses as Ebrietas. But it had less HP and the damage it dealt was not bullshit, so overall it was a pretty easy fight. With all the optional bosses beaten, I climbed Murgo's tower and met his wet nurse. Now, can you spot the difference?
This be joy.
I don't know, but if it resembles how I feel around you, it definitely is. Damn girl, why so red? No need to be so shy. Damn girl, why so wet? Is it because of me? Unsurprisingly, she did not appreciate that. The fight was way less intense than I thought it would be. I could have tried to parry her attacks. Thank God I didn't, because I found out later she's not parryable. But look at that! Would you try to parry that? The going got a little tough once she entered her Angie phase. MFR was on demon time here. She was like mad. But I managed to push through and I got into this situation. What now? Wait a second. Wait a second. Now that's what I'm talking about. Bye bye, nightmare child. Now, I could have consumed the 3 umbilical cords and fight the tentacle monster himself, but I was not yet ready to leave. So, I let myself get picked up by an amygdala. Careful, I bruise easily.
Curse the fiends, their children too. And their children forever true.
The Hunter's Nightmare didn't really have anything that would make me want to explore. That and it's basically extra hell. A hell with realistic dogs, angry British citizens, and a bunch of enemies that would pretty much two-shot me. Nevertheless, I speedran through the first area and I got outside the Ludwig arena. Before fighting him, I first upgraded the Evelyn to +10. I gained blood chunks in order to do so by killing an old man and using his rune to have a better chance at getting them dropped when I killed the wolves in Yahar'gul. And I also used a bunch of insight to buy some from the messenger bat. Now with the +10 Evelyn in my left hand and a right handgun in my right hand, I enter Ludwig's arena. I saw a guy saying something about some blood curse or something. I don't know. His first phase was pretty chaotic. He's very aggressive and his attacks deal a lot of damage. But I eventually figured out a strategy. Just stay out of range. Yeah, it's that simple. Stay out of range, dodge the slam and the charge, and you'll be good to go. By the way, if you don't dodge those two, you are basically dead, and not even praying to the Eldritch Horrors would save you anymore. Now, his second phase, even though it's probably one of the coolest ones in the game, was not really a problem. If you stay relatively close to him, dodging won't be a problem either. That being said, I once again got into the worst situation possible, and this time I didn't have any blood from Yosefka to heal myself. But I noticed there was an item in the back of the arena. I had no idea what item it was, but it was worth a shot. It was blood vials. 5 blood bullets, and no HP left. I used the first 4, and then...
It only takes one bullet. You ain't got the nerve. Try me.
With the best horse fight in any FromSoft game done, I made sure to talk with its head so he can spout nonsense and scream. It's okay, sweetie. Just stay there and try to calm down. I continued towards the next area, and after beating up a VR chat couple, I finally got to the mental asylum where I belong. Here, I ascended towards enlightenment, only to end up only finding a lever. After the lever was pulled, I was now able to fight the weakly self-deprecating joke boss, and surprisingly, I died to living failures. Okay, so what I didn't know about this boss is that there are always 2 melee failures and 2 ranged ones. And thankfully they can be parried, which meant that my second attempt was actually my last one too, since they went down harder than my future. Damn, girl, why are you so...
A corpse should be left well alone.
I'm sorry, mommy, I mean... God, I'm so horny right now, it's unreal. This fight is awesome. I didn't really appreciate it in my first playthrough, but damn was I a dumbass. To beat her, I used the good old parry as much as you can strategy, and it worked pretty well. Until it didn't. So, apparently in her third phase, the fire, even though it made her look way cooler, was a really big problem for me. You see, even though I parried her, the fire still managed to hit me, even though she didn't even get the blood out. I'm guessing this is a bug they never got rid of or something? At first glance, it might not seem like a big problem, but this meant that I had to try and avoid parrying her in her third phase. With the woman who after my doll GF was created dead, I finally entered the fishing village. Side note, isn't it kinda weird just how many women you kill in this game? Like you have Lady Maria, the Witches of Hamwick, Margot's Wet Nurse, Ebrietas, Impostor Yosefka, Ariana, Vicar Amelia, and so on and so forth. What kind of messed up Sigma male grindset was Miyazaki on while making Bloodborne? Anyways, stretchy observation aside, the village was not a problem. I just ignored everything while picking up as many upgrade materials as I could, because now it was time to fight the hardest boss in the game. My first few tries were just a little bit of getting used to his moveset, and when you get to the basics of it, His first phase is pretty easy to parry. The problem appears in his second phase, when he snorts 3 lines of cocaine off his mom's placenta and somehow grows wings? He is barely parryable in this phase, at least for me. There were some moves that I learned to parry by the end of it, but it was overall still a pretty tough fight. I also have to mention that I farmed winter lanterns for gemstones and wolves for blood chunks to get my weapons as upgraded as possible. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about gems. I just equipped the best gems I got while exploring. With the upgrading done, this is how the fight went. With the Orphan finally put to rest, there was still a fucking side boss I had to fight. Okay, let's get it over with. I went and got Laurence's skull, went back to him and he was like, "No, give me my skull back." Of course, because I was a meanie, I didn't want to give it back to him, so now we had to fight. He's pretty much a tankier, glorified, on fire cleric beast. But man, his second phase, it is a pushover. I just stayed away from him and gunned him down from a distance. Yeah, personally, I don't really like this fight. Still one of the best boss teams in the game though. That I can 100% agree with. Now it was time to fight the last boss.
Tonight, Gammon joins the hunt.
But, as usual, I managed to fuck something up. Yeah, I forgot to consume the 3 umbilical cords. So I had to let Gammon kill me in order to consume them. Okay, now it was time for the final boss. The first phase of the fight boils down to parrying his sight attacks. The problem for me was that for most of the fight he stayed in his sword mode, this making parrying extremely difficult. But maybe it was a blessing in disguise, since in his second phase he is way more aggressive with his sight. But after a while, I finally managed to put him to rest. After this, the moon presence tried to suck me dry, but since she rejected me before, I reverse carded her, and now I rejected her. As you can see, she didn't take it too well. Okay, Now I really have no way of gaining any more bullets. There isn't much to say about the average hentai monster. Just heal when it does the AoE big suck, and stay away from her for every other attack. Okay, I think we all know where this is going. This was a really fun challenge, and I'm glad that it made me play this amazing game again. If you think the challenge was fun, I'd strongly suggest you do it yourself. Especially if you are like me and you haven't played Bloodborne in a long time. Anyways, again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next challenge.